and gentlemen, welcome to Robert Morris University and the 96th Commencement Ceremony. Please stand for the doctoral graduates, faculty, and platform party.
Ready. Fire.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Robert Morris University, its faculty, staff, and administration, I welcome you to the 96th commencement exercise and hereby declare these ceremonies open.
As president of Robert Morris University, I am so happy to take this mask off for a few minutes. It is my privilege to welcome you to our 2021 commencement exercises. Please remain standing and join us in the singing of the national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. Now, for those of you all on the stand here, this is where I typically take off my hat and put it back on at the very end. But because I have less hair than I did 5 years ago, I'm going to leave this thing on and let you avoid the glare. You'll also notice that 5 years ago, I wasn't wearing glasses. Times they are a-changing, right? One other quick public announcement as we jump into the prepared remarks for the proceedings. Thank God we're here together, and we're going to stay together and be together, and one way it's going to help us get there is getting vaccinated. I want you to know that everybody that comes to the podium and speaks is fully vaccinated, so we've had our shots, as it were, and we encourage you all to do the same. Being able to be together without your mask outside, not having to quarantine if you're a close contact, not having to do surveillance testing, all sorts of good things happen. You could actually, if you see in the center screen there, rmu.edu/vaccine, we are holding clinics here for the next several days. You can go there and you can sign up. So this public service announcement has been brought to you by Dr. Howard, and I do encourage you all to get vaccinated. Now I'd like to introduce the chair of the Robert Morris University. I'd like to introduce the chair of the Board of Trustees of the Educational Vitality Committee at Robert Morris University, Mr. Coley O'Connor, to welcome everyone to our commencement exercise. And I also note that Dr. Kevin Hearn, our Vice President for Enrollment Management, who represents the university's leadership team today, is also here. So, Mr. O'Connor, can you please come to the podium?
Thank you, President Howard, and good afternoon, everyone. Of all the privileges of being a member of the Board of Trustees of Robert Morris University, none is more enjoyable, significant, or affirming than joining you today at commencement to congratulate our graduates and acknowledge this milestone achievement in their lives. The university trustees revel in the excitement of this day, and we want our graduates to know that the board couldn't be more proud of you and what you have accomplished. You energize us with the promise and potential you represent, and we applaud your hard work and sacrifice, along with that of your family members and loved ones who have supported you along the way. So with praise and appreciation to every group mentioned, as well as an expression of our thanks to the university's faculty, administrators, and officers, let us enjoy today's festivities as we continue this celebration. You have the board's admiration, gratitude, congratulations, and best wishes for continued success. President Howard, please proceed with our ceremonies.
Thank you very much, Mr. O'Connor. I have a feeling that this isn't the last we've seen of you during this ceremony. A little sneak peek. Now, it's truly a pleasure and an honor to be presiding over the university's annual commencement exercises and our first in-person commencement ceremony since 2019. Over the past 14 months, we have exhausted just about every cliche imaginable to describe this pandemic and the toll it has taken. Tonight, we simply want to celebrate your perseverance in completing your doctoral degrees under the most challenging of circumstances. Truly, you have earned the right to be called doctor. Now, to the members of the class of 2020 who are celebrating with us tonight, I wish to thank you for your patience in waiting a year to walk across this stage in person, and we are glad you came back. Graduates, in the midst of this pandemic, you chose to continue with what is a very daunting task, earning your doctoral degree. What a testament to your character. You did not sit still. You did not grow complacent, and neither did Robert Morris University. The pandemic did not slow our momentum. We surpassed, thanks to your assistance, 1 year ahead of schedule, the $100 million fundraising goal in our RMU 100 Ready to Rise campaign. We can applaud for that. And we aren't done yet. That campaign has funded new scholarships, faculty research and teaching, and new facilities like this one, the UPMC Events Center, and the recently completed renovations to the John Jay Center for the School of Engineering, Mathematics, and Science. We even received a donation from Netflix founder Reed Hastings, $3 million to fund 20 full tuition scholarships for underrepresented minorities, students pursuing technology-related careers. So if your Netflix bill went up, it's okay, because the money came to RMU. Now, of special interest to many of you is that our Doctor of Nursing practice program climbed 12 spots in the U.S. News and World Report rankings and has jumped 49 spots over the past 3 years. It puts us in the top third of DNP programs nationwide, and we're still climbing. Congratulations to the faculty and, of course, the students and graduates, and not too shabby for an institution that started as a school of accountancy in the rented rooms in downtown Pittsburgh, like the William Penn Hotel. Today, ladies and gentlemen and graduates, RMU still means business, but RMU also means healthcare. RMU means information technology. RMU means cyber security. RMU means instructional leadership. RMU means engineering. RMU means communications. I could go on, but I think you get the idea. We have a proud history, but instead of looking backwards, we are looking forward. As we prepare to celebrate our 100th anniversary starting next fall, we are ready for what's next, and I know you are too. Congratulations, and I'm so excited for us to write the next great chapter for the RMU story together. Thank you. I'm going to assume it's just because the acoustics, there wasn't as loud of applause, but in my head it was a really, really loud applause. And under all those masks, you're just smiling at all those. I'm going to let my imagination run rampant. Now, please join me in welcoming our commencement speaker, Collier J. O'Connor. Told you he'd be back. Mr. O'Connor has served as head of school for Swickley Academy, Pittsburgh's oldest independent co-educational school since 2003. And according to him, it's the best one too. Right, Mr. O'Connor? Goes without saying. With a scholarly background in English and educational leadership, Collier has spent his career in education since 1987. He currently serves on the Board of Trustees of the Pennsylvania Association of Independent Schools and, of course, on the Board of Trustees at Robert Morris University, where he has chaired both the Academic Affairs and Enrollment Management, as well as the Educational Vitality Committees for many years. Mr. O'Connor, the podium is yours.
Thank you, President Howard. Distinguished guests, fellow trustees, faculty of RMU, and honored graduates, I am deeply humbled to be here this afternoon and have been asked to share a few words to mark this milestone in the lives of our graduates. To begin, Congratulations to our newly minted doctoral degree recipients. Today marks the celebratory end to a remarkable personal and professional journey of scholarship and the beginning of your being able to put your new degree and the expertise it represents to good use. The range of fields and the topics to which each of you has delved is enormous and represents an impressive cross-section of endeavor and achievement, from the highly technical and practical to the more theoretical and philosophical. Many of you are already accomplished professionals in your fields, and this degree signals to your colleagues back at work your professional commitment to excellence. Some of you are now, with your doctorate in hand, ready to launch your careers, empowered with the knowledge and skills you have worked so hard to master along the way. While your degrees are from different fields and you are all at different places in your careers, there is one thread that connects each of us to others, and that is relationships. Your professional relationships with your colleagues, your personal relationships with family and friends, and your sense of who you are and how you contribute to the communities of which you are a part. This afternoon, I want to challenge each of you to consider how you can use your relationships with others to make a difference in the world, especially at a time in our history when people increasingly appreciate the importance of diversity, equity, inclusion, and social justice. How can you change the world for the better? While your professional credentials have now been burnished to the highest degree, credentials ultimately are not what will make you the most effective at what you do. Attending to the relationships that power your professional and personal lives remains at the heart of success. At my school, we have long understood that reading, writing, and arithmetic are just the beginning of what students need to know and understand, so we have invested heavily in social and emotional teaching and learning to support our students in the development of the so-called soft skills that are foundational to character. We have also combined that work with a commitment to DEISJ, diversity, equity, inclusion, and social justice, because we know that our graduates will not be successful in the world if they are unable to navigate the sometimes tricky terrain of race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, ability, etc. Workplaces around the nation, including many of yours, I am sure, have elevated this work, understanding the importance of doing the right thing, of being on the right side of history, and here's the kicker, of improving the bottom line. The work of University of Michigan researcher Scott Page and many others has demonstrated that diverse groups of people consistently outperform homogeneous groups in complex problem solving, even if the homogeneous group is populated by experts and the diverse group is not. Diversity of ideas and perspectives creates an environment in which creative thinking can be fostered, leading to solutions that might not otherwise have been developed. Diversity of ideas requires a diversity of people, and when you bring diverse people together, you create an immediate obligation to ensure that people are treated with equity, that they feel affirmed and included, and that they know that their voices matter. Diversity without equity and inclusion and social justice is frankly of little value. A commitment to creating an environment in which each person can be at their very best is essential to success, regardless of the industry or the work involved. In schools, we know that certain preconditions are essential to learning. Students must feel safe and affirmed, and they must have quality relationships with their teachers that let them know they are supported and loved, not in a squishy, sentimental way, but in the way that communicates unambiguously that I believe in you. I believe in your worth, your ability to achieve remarkable things. Humans don't change just because they leave school and go to work. People need to feel valued, to know their voices matter, and to understand that their backgrounds and our identities are celebrated. These things can only happen if we acknowledge that we are, in fact, all different. Our differences, when we come together, create the opportunities for discovery that would not otherwise be possible. We are each of us different in ways that bind us to particular groups and communities, but they're also unique and singular to us. Being female or male, being black or brown or white, being gay or straight or trans makes us a member of a particular community, and in combination, these multiple layers of identity create the beauty of humanity itself. I've heard it said by people who do not understand the work of DEISJ that people who look like me should feel ashamed of who we are. In her analysis of the difference between shame and guilt, Brené Brown, the well-known scholar on leadership, suggests that shame is not productive. And I would add that it is not the goal of this kind of work. No one should feel ashamed for who they are. But no one in American society should be able to go through life not understanding what their identity means in the American context. As an educator, I seek not to have students feel shame. Rather, I want them to possess knowledge. Let me be clear about what I mean. Black people in America know exactly what it means to be black in America. If they become parents, they know they need to pass on that knowledge to their children. If we are to create a truly equitable society, white people must work to achieve a similar understanding of what it means to be white in America. Given the history of our country, race means something, whether we want it to or not. We are here, everyone today. We did not make the world the way it is, but we have some obligation to understand what it means to be in our world, and that includes white people as well as people of color, straight people as well as those with different gender identities. The day is rapidly receding when white people who have been in the majority can choose to opt out of this understanding. Those of us who instead elect to opt in have the chance to make a difference and to contribute to our communities in ways that are positive and inclusive. Let me single out white people for just a moment, because for much of our history as a nation, white people have been able to opt out. We have lived in a society governed by our rules, where we could expect everyone not like us to pretty much get with the program and to assimilate. Those days are fading rapidly. In the last couple of years in our country, we have seen movements arise that have declared, enough is enough. Such movements have engendered anxiety and even anger among some, but such feelings, while understandable on one level, also suggest a world view that it is in need of adjustment. And that begins with our accepting that we can't be colorblind. We can't pretend that we're all the same. We can't because it's not true. Keep in mind that if you say you are colorblind, you're actually saying that you reserve the right to erase an essential aspect of someone's identity. No one wants anyone to tell us that part of ourselves doesn't count, or can be erased by others, or needs to be checked at the door when we come to work. In the words of W.E.B. Du Bois from his The Souls of Black Folk, rather than cease being who he is, the black man, quote, simply wishes to make it possible for a man to be both a Negro and an American without being cursed and spit upon by his fellows, without losing the opportunity of self-development. So each of us needs to practice seeing, really seeing others in the fullness of who they are, with respect and appreciation. To the Black, Brown, Asian, and Pacific Islander members of our audience today, I hope I can challenge you as well to hang in there with us as we find our way, as we stumble and get things wrong, but as we try to do our part in this work. For too long, we have expected those least well-positioned to address the challenges we face in our society to fix things. Most white people are new to this work, so we will still need coaching and support as we take up our long overdue responsibility to do our part to create a just society. It is clear to me that white people need to take on this responsibility, but we also need our Black, Brown, Asian, and Pacific Islander friends and colleagues to hold us accountable when we get things wrong. Clearly, courage will be required by all. I once had a dad come to see me to ask for advice. He told me he was worried that his child did not like to read, and he was looking for ways to encourage and inspire his child to read more. What should he do? What should he do? I asked him if he was a reader. He said, not really. I suggested that if he wanted his child to read more, he should model the joy of reading by doing it himself. In the end, I told him it was pretty simple. If you want to raise a reader, you have to be a reader. All too often, we expect others to do things that we are unwilling or unable to do ourselves. If we want a better world, and who doesn't, we have to begin by looking in the mirror and asking courageously what we personally are doing to model for others how we can improve the world. And that starts with our communities and our places of work and our relationships with others. So my invitation to you is to make a commitment to be part of the solution. No one should feel ashamed, and everyone should feel as if they have a voice. Choose to engage and think about how you can be a role model, how you can get others to see and behave in ways that are affirming and inclusive. Each of you is a leader. You would not be here today receiving your doctorates if you were not. As leaders, therefore, you have a responsibility, regardless of your field of endeavor, to model what it takes to create the sort of community and society we want for ourselves, for our colleagues, and for our families. This means that we must act, we must speak up, and we must risk making the mistake of getting into a bit of what John Lewis liked to call good trouble. By focusing on people and the full richness of their identities, who they really are, and by modeling what it means to contribute to a diverse, equitable, inclusive, and socially just community, we will ultimately make a significant difference in our own experience and those of others. I hope as you go forth from this time and this place, you do so with pride of accomplishment and with a commitment, and for many of you I know a renewed commitment, to use your hard-earned status to do your part to help make our world, beginning with your own community, a better place than you found it. Remember, in the end, we are all in this together. Congratulations and good luck to our graduates.
Thank you very, very much, Coley. I love your reference to John Lewis, who 5 years ago spoke at your institution, and I was able to bring my mom to that, who grew up in Jim Crow South. She would have really loved those words. I thought you were preaching a little bit there, man. I was going to have to come out there and get a little wet towel to sponge your head, but in all seriousness, you talked about something that's very compelling, and I'm reminded of the book The Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison, the greatest probably novel by an African American in the history of our country. The lead character's name is Invisible. He's a kid out of Oklahoma City, and he says, "I'm an invisible man, not because I cannot be seen, rather because you refuse to see me." And what you've done, Mr. O'Connor, is you've reminded these wonderful future graduates, soon to be doctors, some of them have been a doctor for a year, to see people, to see each other. And when you put those letters before your name, nobody can take it away from you. And when you see somebody in your respective professions, you see even further and deeper because of what has been bestowed upon you by the hard work in this robe you put upon yourself right now. So I thank you for those words, Mr. O'Connor. Outstanding. Provost Rafus, please continue with our program.
Robert Morris University recognizes dedicated individuals who have served the university with distinction by awarding emeritus status. Faculty chosen for this honor have a sustained record of noteworthy honors or accomplishments in teaching, research, and service. The names of all RMU emeritus faculty are listed on page 5 of your program. The new emeriti faculty include William Beaver, Professor Emeritus of Social Science, David Jamison, Professor Emeritus of Communication, and the founding director of the IML PhD program, University Professor Emeritus of Education, Dr. George Semich. Veterans also hold a special place in the hearts of Robert Morris faculty, staff, and students. Over 100 veterans study here. Would all military veterans please stand and be recognized? Thank you. Thank you for your service. The dissertation titles of candidates who will be receiving their doctoral degrees this afternoon are listed in your commencement program. You may wish to follow along as we hood our candidates for Doctor of Science, Doctor of Philosophy, and Doctor of Nursing Practice. Note that both May 2020 and May 2021 graduates are being recognized today. We'll begin with the Doctor of Science and the Doctor of Philosophy in Informational Systems and Communications. Would Dean Amjad Ali come to the podium to present his doctoral candidates from the School of Informatics, Humanities, and Social Sciences? Will Doctoral Director Dr. Jamie Pinchot, along with faculty hooders Dr. Paul Kovacs and Dr. Karen Paulette, rise and lead the candidates for hooding to the stage. I'd also like to let you know that after you receive your diploma, you should take your mask off and then proceed to the center of the stage to have a photo taken with President Howard. And then you'll proceed down this ramp so that you can have another photo taken. And as you're returning to your seat, you should please return your mask to your face.
President Howard and Provost Rafat, I present those candidates who have fulfilled all degree requirements for the Doctor of Science and Doctor of Philosophy in Information Systems and Communications. We will be reading a short biography of each candidate. Your commencement program contains their names and the titles of their dissertations. And may I ask that we hold our applause until all doctoral candidates have been recognized.
Ellen Paris is President and CEO at Hawkeye Group International. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Karen Paulette. Eileen Paris. Sean Michael DiCarlo is an information security analyst at HM Health Solutions. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. Jamie Pinchot. Patrick Adam Dix is a program manager at the United States Department of Energy. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. Donna Salanti. Martin Lee Edwards is a principal systems specialist at the LinQuest Corporation. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. Donna Salanti. Archana Marwaha is Vice President at Hexaview Technology and co-founder of Career Ladder, Inc. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Peter Draus. By Dr. Ann Jabro. Emily Lynn Troutman is an IT manager at Thermo Fisher Scientific. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Fred Cahoon. Stuart Hayes Williams is a biomedical innovation principal at the MITRE Corporation. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. David Wood. Todd A. Wright is a senior artificial intelligence engineer at the MITRE Corporation. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. Robert Scavira. Those were our candidates for the Doctor of Science, and now we'll move on to the Doctor of Philosophy. Edmund Kwake Angapong earned a Bachelor of Science in Accounting from Troyer University and a Master of Business Administration in Finance and Information Management from Wilmington University. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. Fred Cahoon. John Fitzgerald Gresham is a cyberspace operations subject matter expert at the MITRE Corporation. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. Peter Draus. Barry A. Humphrey is an IT business relationship manager at Defense Logistics Agency Information Operations Directorate. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. Karen Paulette. Bronwyn Marion Loeffner is an adjunct faculty member in the Department of Information Technology, Analytics, and Business Education at Bloomsburg University. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Donna Salanti. Juan R. Lopez Gomez is a data analyst at the United States Department of the Treasury. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. Stuart Allen. Stephanie M. McVicker is a segment producer and host at the Prop Watch Project. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Ann Jabro. Please join me in congratulating the candidates for the Doctor of Science and Doctor of Philosophy in Information Systems and Communications. Would Dean Mark Myers come to the podium to present the doctoral candidates from the School of Nursing, Education, and Human Studies? Would Doctoral Director Richard Fuller rise, and the faculty members who will hood the candidates also come forward, Dr. Shelley Hazer and Dr. Nathan Taylor.
President Howard and Provost Rafoth, I present those candidates who have fulfilled all degree requirements for the Doctor of Philosophy. Their names and dissertation titles are listed in your commencement program, and a brief bio will be read as they cross the stage. And may I ask that we hold all applause until all doctoral candidates have been recognized.
Brooke M. Biter is the Director of Educational Planning at Intermediate Unit 17, where she serves as a regional liaison between school districts in Bradford, Lycoming, Sullivan, and Tioga counties and the Pennsylvania Department of Education. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Richard Fuller. Robert Beveridge is a technical manager for the Software Engineering Institute Emerging Technology Center at Carnegie Mellon University, where he also serves as adjunct professor of graduate cybersecurity and cryptography. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. Lawrence Tomei. Mansoor Ahmad Bhatti is the former managing director and CEO of High Tech Media Corporation in Pakistan. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. Richard Fuller. Christine Boring is principal engineer at Naval Nuclear Laboratory. where she works to develop the technical training curriculum and e-learning modules. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Lawrence Tomei. Douglas Decker is Executive Vice President for Laurel Technical Institute. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. Mary Hansen. Carolyn DeWalt is an English and theater teacher at Upper St. Clair High School. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Carrie Ann Bernadowski. Sisavath Duganava is a staff nurse anesthetist with Lifespan Physician Group. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. Gregory Holden. Jan Duckworth is an assistant professor in the Graduate Human Resources Management program at La Roche University. She formerly served as first vice president and human resource manager at BNY Mellon. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Mary Ann Rafath. Cody Fisher is a licensed relationship manager at KeyBank in Pittsburgh. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. Gregory Holden. John Fullwood is a mathematics teacher with the Allegheny Intermediate Unit's Alternative Education Program. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. Vicki Don. Michael G. Funfar is a mathematics teacher at St. Clair High School. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. Carrie Ann Bernadowski. Richard Garris is a secondary English teacher at, at California Area High School, where he also assists with administrative duties. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. George Semich. Sanaa Gawali has formerly worked as a human resources business partner for Reliance Jio Infocom in Mumbai, India. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Jim Bernauer. Kelly Geiges is a first grade teacher at Washington School District. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Mary Hansen. Holly Harmon is the director of the University of Dayton Counseling Center in Dayton, Ohio. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Richard Fuller. Mercedes Angelique Himmons is a clinical instructor and assistant athletic trainer at California University of Pennsylvania. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Bia Kunka. Jessica Huber is a faculty member in the undergraduate and graduate nursing programs at Carlow University and a registered nurse at Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Shelley Hazer. Fahad Kamal is currently serving as the Clinical Operations Director of UT Physicians Multispecialty International District. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. Lawrence Tomei. Kelly Lashinsky is a school administrator at Richland School District in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Mary Ann Rafath. Penny S. Lenig-Zerbe is the Nursing Foundations instructor at Dauphin County Technical School, an adjunct professor at Harrisburg Area Community College, and the Pennsylvania College of Technology. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. B. Kunka. Alyssa Mick is a principal at Oak Glen Middle School. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Shelley Hazer. Faith L. Musco is an assistant professor of forensic science at Waynesburg University. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. George Semich. Laura Olek Reed is an adjunct professor of education at Franciscan University of Steubenville and research assistant for in-service teacher training in behavior management strategies. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. George Semich. Jessica Seymour is a communications professor at the University at Buffalo. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Vicki Don. Jennifer Schumann is the Special Education Coordinator and Director of Pupil Services at the Richland School District in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Nathan Taylor. Stephanie Schmiegel is the Director of Intensive Behavioral Health Services at Allegheny Children Initiative. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Greg Holden. Charles Tyler Sr. is the managing attorney at the law office of Charles Tyler Sr. He has served as a Summit County prosecutor and has worked as a defense attorney for state auto insurance. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. Larry Tomei. Christopher Wellinger is the Senior Human Resources Business Partner at Eleanor North America. His dissertation was supervised by Dr. James Bernauer. Lucilia A. Williams is a research specialist at the University of Pittsburgh. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. Nate Taylor. Michelle Young is the elementary principal for the Commodore Perry School District. Her dissertation was supervised by Dr. George Semich. The 2021 academic year brought much sadness to the RMU campus as our community suffered the unimaginable loss of one of our stellar students. The university communicates wants to recognize the immensity of that loss in terms of lives surrendered and dreams unrealized by awarding the diploma he so rightfully deserves. Gautam Raha was to walk across the stage today to receive his diploma for completion of his PhD in instructional management and leadership. Gautam was a civil engineer and project manager. His dissertation, which he was about to defend before his death, was supervised by Dr. James Bernauer. To the entire Raha family, we hope that the memory of this occasion will be recalled fondly in the years to come. We'd like to award Dr. Raha's diploma to his wife. Please join me in congratulating the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy in Instructional Management and Leadership. And now will Dr. Terry Devereaux, Doctoral Director for the Doctor of Nursing Practice, and faculty hooders Dr. Carl Ross and Dr. Kirsten Kamig, please lead the candidates for the Doctor of Nursing Practice to the platform.
President Howard and Provost Raifeth, on this National Nurses Day, it's my honor to present those candidates who have fulfilled all degree requirements for the Doctor of Nursing practice. Their names and their project titles are listed in your commencement program, and a brief bio will be read as they cross the stage. And may I ask that we hold our applause until all the doctoral graduates have been recognized.
Jason O. Abaswan is graduating from the Psychiatric Mental Health Nurse Practitioner Program. He most recently provided care for COVID-19 patients through the Rapid Response Effort for COVID-19 Texas operations. His DNP project was supervised by Dr. Denise Ramponi. Congrats. Caitlin Beauseigneur is a registered nurse at Memorial Cady Hospital in Houston, Texas. She is currently working on a post-anesthesia care unit. Her DNP project was supervised by Dr. Denise Ramponi. Melissa A. Davis is a treatment coordinator for Presley Ridge Community Residential Rehabilitation, where she provides therapeutic services for children and adolescents with mental health and behavioral health concerns. Her DNP project was supervised by Dr. Lisa Locasto. Heather D'Amata is an oncology certified registered nurse at the UPMC Hillman Cancer Center. Her DNP project was supervised by Dr. Carl Ross. Jared Dixon is a psychiatric nurse clinician at UPMC Western Psychiatric Hospital Psychiatric Consult and Liaison Service. His DNP project was supervised by Dr. Holly Hampy. Relon W. Galchik works as a registered nurse at UPMC Mercy in the emergency department. His DNP project was supervised by Dr. Judy Kaufman. Elena M. Gradisek is currently a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner working with children and adults with psychiatric disorders. Her DNP project was supervised by Dr. Kirsten Kameg. Zachary Hadfield is an emergency medicine nurse at UPMC Mercy, where he works both as a bedside nurse and as a sexual assault nurse examiner. His DNP project was supervised by Dr. Angela Byers. Sarah E. Henry is a registered nurse at UPMC Shadyside Hospital, providing care to patients on a surgical, urology, and oncology unit. Her DNP project was supervised by Dr. Judith Kaufman. Eric D. Jones is a registered nurse at Heritage Valley Sewickley Hospital, where he provides care to various post-operative orthopedic surgical patients. His DNP project was supervised by Dr. Linda Davidson. Christine Barba Kavanaugh is a registered dietitian and pediatric nurse practitioner at River Valley Health and Dental Center. She also teaches in the School of Nursing and Health Sciences at the Pennsylvania College of Technology. Her DNP project was supervised by Dr. Judith Kaufman. Amanda J. Keffer is a clinician at UPMC Western Psychiatric Hospital. Her DNP project was supervised by Dr. Judith Kaufman. Sandra Kitchko is a PICU nurse at UPMC Children's Hospital. Her DNP project was supervised by Dr. Lisa Locasto. Erin M. Batoski is a neurological stroke registered nurse at UPMC Shadyside, where she has been employed for over 12 years. Her DNP project was supervised by Dr. Betsy Gamond. Victoria Nicole Morando is a certified pediatric nurse at UPMC Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. Her DNP project was a clinical trial and was supervised by Dr. Lisa Locasto. Jason D. Myers will be starting a position as a nurse practitioner in neurology at Indiana Regional Medical Center later this month. His DNP project was supervised by Dr. Steve Foreman. Ashley Newman is currently a registered nurse at Concordia Visiting Nurses, where she provides home health services in the greater Pittsburgh area. Her DNP project was supervised by Dr. Angela Machi-Beers. Jennifer L. Riccello is a forensic addiction psychiatric registered nurse. Her DNP project was supervised by Dr. Lisa Locastro. Eric Ross is currently a registered nurse at UPMC Passavant, where he provides care in the cardiac intensive unit. His DNP project was supervised by Dr. Denise Ramponi. Stacy Snyder is a professional staff nurse at UPMC Northwest in Seneca, Pennsylvania. Her DNP project was supervised by Dr. Carl Ross. Please join me in congratulating the candidates for the Doctor of Nursing Practice. Will all of the doctoral degree candidates please rise? Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the Doctor of Science, Doctor of Philosophy, or Doctor of Nursing Practice degree, classes of 2020 and 2021.
Upon recommendation of the faculty and with the authority vested in me by the Pennsylvania State Department of Education and the trustees of Robert Morris University, I confer upon you the Doctor of Science, Doctor of Philosophy, or Doctor of Nursing Practice degree, for which you have certified with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto. Let's give them a round of applause.
Everyone's a doctor, even the nurses. It's been a tradition at Robert Morris that each graduating doctoral cohort presents a gift to the university. I am pleased to note the following. Students in cohort 20 of the PhD in Information Systems and Communication program individually donated to the following scholarship funds: the Fred Cahoon Educational Excellence Endowment Scholarship, and the Robert J. Scavira Foundation for the Advancement of Agile Ethnography. The members of the Instructional Management and Leadership PhD Cohort 14, both online and on ground, have donated their class gift to the George Semish Scholarship Fund and the School of Nursing Education and Human Studies Dean's Fund. Cohort 14 on ground donated the portion of their class gift to the George Semish Scholarship Fund in Dr. Gautam Raha's name, noting that his dedication to lifelong learning was an inspiration to all who seek knowledge. Throughout the years, many of the DNP graduates have been privileged to take part in the international healthcare trips led by Carl Ross. This experience gives students a perspective that lasts for a lifetime and continues the legacy of global perspective to which this university is dedicated. The BSN DNP class of 2021 is proud to honor this esteemed program and the life's work of Dr. Carl Ross with their class gift to the School of Nursing Education and Human Studies International Nursing Fund. In addition, the class has made a donation to the Judith Kaufman Endowed Scholarship in recognition of the tremendous support, guidance, and encouragement from their dedicated faculty members.
Thank you very much. Please be seated, graduates. And to the doctoral students from the Doctor of Science, Doctor of Philosophy, Information Systems and Communications, Doctor of Philosophy in Instructional Management and Leadership, and Doctor of Nursing Practice Programs. Let me thank you for your generous gifts to mark the graduating class of these doctoral candidates here at RMU. Your contribution will become part of the tradition that continues today. Thank you. Now, this comes from our Alumni Association. You're not getting away from us just yet. Congratulations, all capital letters, exclamation point. As the newest members of the Robert Morris University Alumni Association, you join more than 50,000 or 53,000 graduates worldwide in a lifetime commitment to your alma mater. More than ever, RMU's graduates are engaging with the university as lifelong partners, advocates, and investors. Through the future achievements and support as RMU alumni, you will play a tremendous role in building the university's future. We look forward to you joining fellow graduates for a variety of educational and social gatherings, such as athletic contests, right here when we win our next basketball championship in the Horizon League, luncheon and lecture programs, and numerous networking opportunities, which will enable you to continue your relationship with your fellow graduates. In fact, our next major alumni event will be Homecoming, scheduled for October 9th, 2021. Save the date. Today, we are extremely proud to have you represent the university as our alumni. Congratulations again, and you can leave your credit card numbers on the way out. You laughed at that one, that's good. In all seriousness, thank you so much for being a part of our community. Now, the heart of the university is the faculty who have taught, guided, and inspired graduates, especially under these crazy circumstances. I just want to just acknowledge again the faculty of Robert Morris University who, within about 4 days, went from teaching mostly in person and some online to teaching all online, synchronous and asynchronous. I want us to give them I'd like for them to stand and be recognized. Let me make sure I get this right. I'm sorry, I'm a little rusty. It's been a year. So you guys are the heart. You guided and inspired our graduates. Got that right. Now, will members representing our faculty please stand and be recognized? Great. Now, would the graduates stand again? Now, it is important that we recognize the parents, the spouses, and family members and friends who have supported you in many ways so that you might be here today. Please join me in a round of applause for these very important people. Now, congratulations again, graduates. I want you to please remain standing. Now, the graduates will proceed from the front of the arena. We ask those of you in the stands to please remain in place until the graduates and platform party have departed the arena to allow for a smooth recession. Please exit the UPMC Events Center immediately and remain masked while you are inside the building. Please meet your graduate once outside. Do not block the exit aisles. At this time, we invite everyone to stand and remain standing for the recessional and to join us as we proudly sing our alma mater. Thank you very much.